We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Hello and welcome back to I Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm Michelle Harvey. I'm your other co-host. I am Mason's mom, and I speak in the role of a caregiver. And I just got to surprise Mason and tell him that today we have no outline.
No script.
We don't usually have like a written script ever, but we usually have like an outline so we stay on track, stay on topic.
Basically we know where we're going.
Right.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're just going to talk in circles. And so we don't want to ever do that to you guys. I don't know. I mean, probably a lot of you feel like this. You have these weeks where you just feel like it is so busy. And it has been one of those weeks. It's going to be one of those weeks also.
Yes.
So it just, it was like, we're just gonna come talk to you guys today. It's gonna be really, I want to talk to you about a book I'm reading. That was Mason's suggestion for the show because I keep talking about it. I think this is worth, I don't know if I should apologize for this or not to listeners, but we accidentally watched one of our YouTube videos last week. We were watching TV at night. We always look on YouTube for we're usually watching a lot of things on jumping spiders, on people who are exploring caves. We're watching I Love Lucy. So we are always looking for interesting things to watch. And one of our videos, was up there. And so Jason, he's like, clicks on it. And I was like, wow, I sound so tired.
I go to bed now. Goodbye.
Was that my energy level that I put out? But then I also started thinking, I think a lot of you can understand that sometimes we are thinking that other people don't notice that we're stressed or we're tired. And it's a perfect example where you're thinking that in your head, but what you're seeing and hearing, you're like, wow. And it's, but it's true because there have been a lot of challenges lately. And sometimes when we are coming to record, because we used to just record randomly when we felt like it, kind of different days a week. And then it started turning to, okay, let's make it one day so we know when it's going to happen. Yeah. And sometimes on that day, it's like a lot going on. So your energy levels are different. Yeah, it's not like I'm like, hey, let's record on this day because hey, we're feeling great. It's like, no, today is our recording day, and regardless of what's going on, we want to do this. We want to talk to you guys. But sometimes, I was just surprised because I was like, wow, I look tired. I sound tired. It's authentic. I mean, that's the thing.
It's genuine, It's hi, I have plenty of energy.
Yeah, and I hope that in that, instead of you guys, I hope it didn't bring anybody down, but I hope that maybe some of you can you relate and you get it, and you're like, yeah, some days we have days like that where it's a little more difficult to just be peppy and happy, and it's okay. You don't want to also be fake. Like I said, being genuine is important. That was fun.
Imagine Dragons once said, "That's just life, I suppose."
Yeah, and it's okay to be not okay. So they have some good quotes. So this week we are looking. Mason has a few appointments, and we'll be able to update you guys more after those and see.
And a lot of calls too. Yeah.
Yes, and as it turns out, he has a midterm on the same day he is meeting with his IBD specialist. And as a lot of you know, it's tough because people who don't have this disease can't really probably relate, but you have a certain weight on your mind, certain amount of thoughts going through your head. I know, and what I'm thankful to have witnessed with this is I can understand what he goes through. And I know it's not an excuse. I know none of you are making excuses when you after an infusion, maybe you are feeling tired, headaches.
It's different.
There's multiple things that go through getting these infusions. And so that's the day before. And it's like, and he has a midterm the next day and he's going to meet the teacher. You do a really good job
handling it.
of handling it. but I also want him to be honest with me and
Yeah.
not be like we just talked about. I want him.
Fine.
Right. I don't want him.
That's going fine.
I don't want him to just tell me like I'm doing great and
Keep the
keep things
positivity, you know.
right. Because sometimes it just isn't.
Yeah.
And so it's okay for him to tell me, this week I am not looking forward to it. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, well, you have a right to feel that
Well,
way.
so we're gonna tell the viewers. It may not come as a surprise, but we have something to look forward to this week.
So again, I think we just talked about this in our podcast, like whenever, so
Give you something to look forward
give you
to.
something to look forward to.
So last time we did the video, if you don't remember, we introduced you to a new family member, Felix, the
Mhm.
jumping spider, who's a regal jumping spider,
He's
and he's
molting.
molting right now. So which can take from like 7 days to over a month.
Hmm.
It's been about a week. He might do it pretty soon, not sure. But
Yeah.
it is a dangerous process, so you want to try to keep them in a balanced environment with moisture and stuff. Next time we do the video, you're going to get to be introduced to another new member of the family because we're getting another regal jumping spider
Yeah.
named
Jelly
Jelly
bean.
Bean.
Yeah, so that's not what we named
That's not what we
her,
named it. It's her.
but we may just keep her
Yeah.
name because
I mean, I
it's
had
cute.
a little tarantula once that was native here, and I gave it a first name, a last name, and a middle name. But
But she's
seventh or sixth instar,
yeah, she was
that's
six
what
in
she
star.
considered
She
that.
might have gone through another one. And what's important to note for you listeners
Oh,
is that the female jumping spiders, they can
yeah, this is good to know.
yeah, they can really I don't want to say too I don't know if kids are like I don't know.
Let's just
I'll
say,
let you say it.
if a female jumping spider has babies,
Hmm.
with the male jumping spider, at
Hmm.
least one, that female jumping spider can have babies for the rest of their life
Yeah.
just from having it once.
Yeah. So
So
she yeah.
so basically when you're like, I want one batch of baby jumping spiders, you're gonna get
Hmm.
hundreds.
So when you're buying it, so what's important to know
Some
is that when you're because this was news to
Yeah, it was
us
news to us.
because we were like when we were trying to pick one we were like between a male and a female like which one and we ended up getting a male because they said the female's most likely gravid is what they call it when they are like
Having babies.
pregnant having so they're most likely gravid.
Because they might be wild caught.
Right. And I was like, wait,
Wild.
these are wild caught? So I didn't realize that, in this hobby, in this profession, I guess, when people are reselling these, that they are reselling ones that they catch and so you don't know what you're really getting. And so this sounds really crazy that we put this much thought into a spider. But so I started looking for a female jumping spider that was captive bred.
So it didn't have babies.
Right.
So you can
And
be 100%
yeah,
sure.
because and I wanted to be responsible too because I don't
take them out of the environment.
know.
That's kind of cruel.
I felt like that was really messed up. And it's so I think that is and I mean there's probably people who could, educate us even more on this topic.
Educate.
But we've done a lot of watching, reading, we're pretty well versed on this, but we wanted to find one that was captive bred. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
And so it's a little more expensive, not too bad, but a little bit more, but it's worth it to have something. So she's been handled. She is, so it'll be exciting to get her. I'm excited to see if she's different than Felix. Like
She's gonna be small,
yeah.
but
But eventually
she's gonna
she'll be a big, yeah.
now
So cute.
another fun thing to know is that the last time you saw Felix, he was in a tiny little container.
Yeah.
But now he's in a new container that we built. Well, we didn't build the container itself,
Right.
the terrarium.
But you created.
Created what's inside of it, and we're gonna do the same for Jelly Bean.
Yeah.
And editor.
Yes, we
if
will.
you can put the picture
Right. If we
here.
have it, I will do it. If not, we
Before
will.
Felix start molting, he's
Right.
probably gonna be in the top right corner. Somewhere,
Right.
So.
And so we have. So it looks. They did a great job. It looks so good. So I'm excited to see how Jelly Bean's container turns out too.
And what's really cool actually about the container is if you've seen the picture by now, there's this little cork piece in the top left corner that isn't fully up against the top of it.
Right.
It's a little ledge. And so usually a jumping spider will hang on to whatever is vertical or
Right. They go to the
sideways,
top.
or
They
they hang
go.
upside down.
Mm-hmm.
They never really go down to the ground and just sit there, right side up. They
Right.
don't
Right.
usually do that. And so, because this cork piece is so high up in the terrarium, and there's a little ledge for him, he sits right side up on it, even though that's not normal, because
It's
there's
like
usually not
yeah.
cork pieces just hanging around like that. But he'll sit there and he'll just look around the room. He's just sitting up there.
It's so cute.
And it's so cute because he's not just sitting from the top. He's not hanging. He's not
Right.
on the side.
He's actively
He's just sitting
looking.
there like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. And
It's
so
this little, and that's
yeah.
where he made his nest
Right.
to, well, not nest. It's where he made his
Web
hammock
hammock. Yes.
to molt.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So now
yeah.
he's tucked in there, and it's kind of weird because we're used to going in there and saying good morning to him, and
He runs around. He actually runs up to the front
he
of the
comes up to
container,
see you.
greets you,
Yeah.
and goes back.
I mean, this is probably more than anybody cared to hear.
So they've already clicked out the video by
So
now.
imagine if you had a meal with us, as some of our friends have to endure.
Yeah.
They get
Poor
to
people.
hear
Yeah.
with Jason showing the proud pictures.
They're gonna block us on YouTube. They're gonna
No.
leave us alone.
So
Don't want to hear about your dang spiders.
we'll get to so today's really we're not going to go too in depth, but I wanted
did.
to I know more probably on the spider than we're doing on the topic of
dear.
IBD. I really apologize.
I'm
So
sorry.
we'll try to get
Spider
back to the IBD centric nature of our show. And so here is the book I've
we've
been
all
reading.
talking about.
Yeah, and it's
Pull it up really quick.
yeah, go ahead.
Just the book, the author right there.
Yeah, Philipp Dettmer. I didn't so when I got this book, I didn't it's not like I know what I'm doing half the time. I will go on and I will do a search for what are the top rated books on the immune system or IBD. And then I kind of go from I try to do my research because I do not like to buy a book that is one-sided, either even in my own direction or what somebody else believes. I
No,
really
just want to hear from all sides.
Yes.
So you can get information from
I want
everybody.
the facts and I don't want, the opinion necessarily. I just want facts.
Remember we said in last episode, facts don't have feelings.
And that's true. And I understand, every person's going to have a bias, but I don't like to get a book with a bias. And especially with the immune system,
It's just about learning and education. You want to hear both sides so you can better understand,
right.
What you're doing or what you're up
Right.
against or what type of Crohn's you're fighting.
And what I liked about this is it wasn't by someone who was focused on IBD. So this book has nothing to do with IBD. No. What is really cool is as you read each chapter and you're learning all about the immune system, I mean, one, you start to realize why Crohn's disease is so hard to treat. Because it's not, again, they don't mention IBD. It's Crohn's is mentioned in here. So is ulcerative colitis. A few times it's mentioned because they talk about autoimmune disease. They talk about the immune system. So there are, in the gut, there are things where it does come up, but it's not really talked about. Sometimes I will make a connection, after learning about macrophages and neutrophils and cytokines and dendritic cells, all these different immune system cells, the thymus, the T cells, I start to
It's like one of those little, those little boards where it has the holes and you put the pin in it and you put the string there and it starts connecting all the dots.
That's what I feel like. So I'm and so that's what I want to do.
Put some 5 pins in.
I'm not going to have a board like that,
No.
but what I plan to do is something like that because when I'm done reading it, I want to reread it, but doing one of those charts where I'm okay, so how would this cell affect IBD? How would this part of the immune system? How would this?
Remember, we're not scientists.
No, it's just it's for my own knowledge because even in doing this, I've understood a few things what people have talked to me about. And sometimes in the past, people have said stuff and I'm okay. And, even understanding why potentially Mason would lose his appetite. There's some things in here I'm this makes sense. So again, I don't want anyone out this is not for you to form your own way to solve.
Remember, guys,
disease.
Ask your doctor trying to do something.
Right. Listen to your doctors. And it also helps you understand how this disease is so different and why treating it with different treatments is so much more effective. And anyways, it's a really I think it's a great book. And so if anybody's looking, if you are just interested in the immune system, it's super interesting to me.
pretty cool.
And it's written in a really humorous, kind
Mhm.
of fun way. And
It is. There's some really funny analogies in there. Really quick. My inflammation rates are getting a little bit higher and higher.
yeah.
And what's weird is usually before I start flaring, I feel the symptoms first. And the very first one is usually always a loss of appetite. But
Mhm.
I haven't had a loss of appetite yet. So it's very strange. But it
Yeah.
shows that it's getting higher. It's not too bad yet. But progressive disease, it's just going to keep getting worse. And so the doctor is going to try to figure out something with that.
Mhm.
But thinking about that, the first thing I feel before going into a flare is a loss of appetite. Do you remember from the book what you learned about why exactly?
I believe it is in the mucosal layer is
Mhm.
where inflammation, because it gets a signal, a false signal, basically, like one of your immune cells is giving out the signal, like there's something
Intruder.
is intruding again. And so it starts to act up, basically.
Mhm.
You start to have that inflammation in your mucosal layers where it's not necessarily where you're going to feel it yet, but it's starting. And so sometimes that even can send a signal to your body to slow down eating because it's preparing
Yeah.
for battle.
And wasn't
Um,
it another thing like with the flu, well not the flu, but any illness or fight that your body's enduring,
mhm,
the reason it tells your body to stop eating is because digesting food takes energy and it
right,
needs energy
to
to
fight.
fight disease, to fight whatever's going on.
Right, like
You
typically it'd
know,
be like a flu or something. So if like you lose your appetite when you have the flu,
yeah.
there's kind of a reason for
It's
that.
not like, oh, it's the flu. No, it's your
Right. And it
body
doesn't mean you
trying to.
shouldn't
No,
eat.
don't stop yourself. That's
It's
bad.
just
Dang it. No.
the body
Yeah.
sends these signals
Yeah.
because
It's.
it is using to fight a flu, it is
Mhm.
takes actually so much out of your body.
Yeah.
And so your body is preparing for that. And so sometimes with things like inflammation, your body's getting a message
Yep.
to fight. And so I don't really know how tied this is, these things are to IBD, but there's things that just
Mhm.
kind of make sense from a
Yeah.
level
I mean,
of
think about
inflammation.
like this. When you're having a flu, your body's preparing to start a battle. So you have a loss of appetite, right?
Hmm.
If my disease, which the first thing I usually feel, I don't know why it hasn't happened this time,
Yeah.
but when my body usually goes into a flare, starting to fight, right? Starting to fight with
Hmm.
itself, it is no longer hungry. And so I feel like that would be more tied to Crohn's disease. Obviously,
Hmm.
there hasn't been much done with that, but
Yeah.
it does seem pretty interesting with how it can connect.
Right. And those are the things that I don't think the doctors talk to you a whole lot about. It's like, here's the symptom. And it's not like to say, but here's why you're having this symptom. Because typically you're like, it's like, oh, you're feeling nauseous. You're not going to say, well, why am I in particular
Yeah,
feeling
no,
nauseous?
I don't know.
Some people just accept these symptoms as part of the disease. But
It's
if
good to understand,
it
though.
is,
It's
it's kind of
important.
helpful because then it also helps you understand maybe where your body's at. So this is not a doctor talking to me or a
No.
scientist. This is my friend Philip Dettmer. I'm not sure, but yeah, I know he has a YouTube channel,
Hmm.
and he presents things in a way that makes it interesting. He simplifies it into a way where you can really understand and keep following along because each chapter builds. The first half of the chapter is probably the most intense, and then the second half is it starts kind of pulling it all together, and you're able to start understanding things a little better because you've already
Like
learned
there
it.
are so many connections you've made
There are,
just from reading it so
yeah,
far.
and
Like I'll come into the
yeah,
bedroom before because she reads it before she goes to
yeah,
bed,
he'll say goodnight,
and
and I'm like,
and she's
wait
like,
a
"Wait, I have something
minute.
interesting to say." I'm like, "Oh, what is it?" So we've been connecting the dots quite a bit with
Yeah.
this book, so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and like something interesting I found out about, and again, I don't know how accurate I am, but
Measles.
is measles because
This is really interesting,
yeah,
actually.
but measles has been a topic because at Disneyland, somebody I believe had measles and it was
The most
mentioned.
happiest place on earth.
Yeah, and so some people are concerned, some people aren't. It depends, if you're, where you lie, being vaccinated, non-vaccinated,
So just
immunosuppressed.
tell them how the
Um,
body works with
right,
keeping
but
track of stuff.
with measles, so basically, like your body has memory cells.
Hmm.
So once you get something, theoretically, you shouldn't get it again because your body remembers
Remembers
it
it.
and can jump on it right away next time. They don't have to go through the whole
Yeah.
process of fighting. And because after the fighting process ends is when these memory cells are created,
Yeah.
essentially. And they have they're stored, they store these. And so,
The reason you will get, the so-called flu again is because even though it has the same name, it's just the flu.
Different
Obviously, there's a
strain.
different strain, there's a different scientific name,
Right.
but it's a different type. So it's not this exact same type. It's funny because people just say, "Oh, it's the flu's going around." Not the flu .92 is going
Yeah.
around. So you're like, "Oh, what's the difference?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's different strains and different so your body again will have to relearn. And so
Hmm.
so what happens is, and this can happen even too when you're being, age can reduce those memory cells aging. So elderly may have less of those memory cells to help them. So younger kids are forming these making these memory cells and so they don't have as many, and then people who are immunosuppressed sometimes things can happen with that as well, but overall most people have that, you have a library of memory
Memory.
cells. What I did not realize with measles is that measles can erase that
All
entire
memories.
library,
Hmm.
and you
Basically set fire to a library.
it's and it's crazy because again this is what's in the book, so if you guys have read something else, not trying to contradict anything, not trying to start anything, it was just news to me because I knew measles was dangerous just in itself. I didn't realize the complications that could arise from it, and depending on what age you might get this, might get it as well. So anyways, super interesting book. I highly
Very
recommend
interesting.
it. I can appreciate somebody who is like not afraid to take information
Hmm.
and put it into a form where others can understand it instead of trying to act superior and write a book that is
Yeah.
like
It's
super
like
fancy words
language you don't understand.
where I'm going to read it and have to reread it and reread it and be like, oh, this is, so I can appreciate where they have like, there's so many illustrations. So I'll let you guys, look it up on Amazon. But
Mom, I found out that a T cell is a word that is about 40 letters long.
it's so cool. Like I will show it, like I'm like, look at the pictures. And it shows it in ways that you really can understand. And
Yeah.
so at any rate,
And there's
just
some
a
humor in it too.
good book to read. The
Definitely.
chapters are fairly short, so if you just want to like commit to like reading you don't have a lot of time, just read a chapter at a time, and it's really good. So I think there's other books I've been looking into also. If you want to make any book recommendations that are related to IBD or health wellness, so feel free to share what you guys are into.
Put it in the comments too.
Yeah. And in this one, I mean, I'm just about done. I'm in the last few chapters, and it's super interesting, and I hope more of you are, considering learning more about how our bodies work. I mean, even learning how I didn't realize, I mean, I knew the intestines had an important job. They pretty much do.
Yeah.
We think we
You
all
didn't
know that,
realize that.
but I didn't realize, even but not even with just this book, but like no one ever took the time to probably explain to me properly like when Mason was flaring, and like I mean yeah, like we just talked about, oh, he has all these side effects, and you're like, wow, he's not doing well because he has all these side effects. But what no one, like when you don't understand the intestines work or how the gut
Mhm.
works, like really understand, you're not realizing how detrimental that is to the body.
Yeah,
It's not
health
good,
and like illness.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but you're not understanding the whole processes that need to be needed for the next process to the next process. And so how each one in the intestines, they have a really important
The
job, which
body is so intricate.
it is. It is. And so I think the more you can kind of educate yourself on how it works, it's not like you're going to understand IBD, but it's important to understand in general for anything really. It's not just IBD specific. It's important to understand so you can really realize like, oh, okay, this is not great that having this symptom with the disease. It might be who knew it affected the red blood cells and your oxygen levels, and who knew, all these little things. Keep educating yourself and
Educating yourself.
talking to your doctor
Yep, and make
because
sure you stay in contact with your doctor actually when you read from a book like this, or you
you may
read
have a
from,
question. You can like, hey,
ask a question, but don't be like, "Hey, I know what to do with
right,
myself.
I'm
I
an
don't need my
expert.
doctor."
No,
Just,
no, like no way an expert, but I find myself like we were at
makes yourself more aware.
2 days ago, not yesterday, 2 days ago, we went to a volunteer appreciation event with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, our local group here in San Diego. I was approached by a doctor from UCSD who's super intelligent, super nice woman, and it was really cool to meet her. And so she is working with closely with the foundation now. We have another doctor as well that we know very well that has been working with them for a while too, but they work together at UCSD. So anyways, what this is leading back to is I feel like when I do talk to a doctor now, I'm able to converse more than feel like I'm struggling to keep up. And I feel like that's what I used to feel like is when a doctor would explain something, I would always feel like I was behind the eight ball. Like they're trying to explain to me why Mason can't take, if Remicade isn't working, why Stellara might work. And I'm going, what? I didn't know different classes. Like I didn't understand all that. Over time, you start to learn, okay, I understand better how this works now. And so when a doctor talks to you, you can understand more. And I think that leads to better health because you aren't just feeling lost and it's just like, okay, whatever you say. It's like, oh,
I
okay.
understand,
Yeah. And so her and I
helps.
were actually able to have a really good
Conversation.
conversation. And it's, I mean, again, not that I'm on her level, but I'm able to keep up a
Understand
little better
people.
and understand. And that's not, and not just from this book. I want to be clear. That's, I mean, that's from years now of learning about the body, learning about the disease, listening to doctors, and you get to a point where you
You,
can really you can understand what they're telling
this
you.
book is helpful a lot, but you've also done a lot of research
Oh yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
and so this book is
It's just
obviously
like
very
another,
helpful,
it's
but
another
it's just another
piece.
thing to get
Yeah,
information.
just another little piece to put on our chart of our web
Another
of
the thousand piece
right,
puzzle.
right. And it's cool when things overlap because sometimes like I do a lot of the medical online journals and sites, National Institute of Health, things like that. I look at a lot of research being done. And so sometimes like even like with this immune system book, I could take what I looked in a chapter and I'd immediately Google it and look it up on NIH and I would compare notes like, okay, so a helper T cell, or a killer T cell, or, a B cell, like these things that they're talking about. How is this related? And typically there's an article where someone has done this research and related this back to the disease. I would never have, what I guess what I'm saying is I would never have known to look up, a helper T cell
Yeah,
or
helper
a
T
killer
cell.
T cell
There's multiple kinds of
or,
now.
look up a dendritic cell or look up a neutrophil and see how that's, so
Helper cell. I mean, why not call it H cell? Why not call it K cell?
there's reasons.
Yeah, I just
And so it's like, so that's what I mean. It's not like I'm an expert on these cells.
Mhm.
It just means I know
You have a
now
better understanding.
what to look up. Because
Yeah.
before, would I have ever connected any of these to looking it up? No, because I wouldn't have known they existed. I wouldn't know. So when you educate yourself, you learn, it makes you a better listener,
Hmm.
which you're learning
Yeah.
about. It's one of your, yeah.
Actually, speaking of learning, how you're saying you know how to ask better questions.
Hmm.
In my class, it says anyone can give an answer, an easy answer to a question, and
Hmm.
anyone can ask any question. The hard part is asking the question that matters.
Yeah,
The easy
that's
part is
exactly it.
getting the question. The easy part is getting the answer. The
Right.
hard part is figuring out what are we looking for. What? Because
And
I
it's
can ask a
very
question about
true.
places, but what is the actual question that you're looking for? You have to find the actual question, and that's
Right.
the hardest thing to do.
So that's funny that you're learning that because that's exactly what I'm always trying to explain because I think, we can ask the doctor like, well, what should we expect if Mason starts this new treatment? That's a question. She's going
Mhm.
to give me an answer. And I may not, I may not have the information to process the answer she gives me at that point, but
Yeah.
if I can ask a better question, a more informed
Hmm.
question,
More
I
specific, more
right.
informed.
Right. Those are the questions we're talking about. So we're all going to have those. We're all going to have questions where we're like, I have no clue what's going on. Help me. Like, that's why you're here. That's why you're a doctor. Like, that's why. But yeah, like you're saying, a good question, a well-informed question is a great one and it can be really helpful. So keep educating yourself so you can ask
Ask what is
good
important. Ask what
questions.
matters. Ask
Mhm.
the question that needs to be
Right.
asked. And it's not something that's going to be off the top of your mind. It's going to take some digging to
No.
find.
It is, and it's not like I'm going to go to the doctor and be like, "Can you tell me more about this cell?" Like, I want to learn. I
The
mean, I
doctor's
don't mean
like,
like I'm not going to put it. It's not about putting me on the spot and asking him to do what you're
yeah,
reading about. It's just so you can be more informed, and when they explain something, you can ask a better question. You might be, which leads to a really good conversation, and the goal, which is understanding the doctor and having hopefully better
yeah.
results as a
You
result of that.
yourself having a better understanding of
Mhm.
your disease can help you
Yeah.
gauge your disease better.
It's true. So with that, I think we will let you guys go today
Yeah.
because, like I said, this has been a week, and it's going to be another week. And so we didn't want to we wanted to talk to you guys, and we want to include in this book. It's not like we just threw this together either. That we didn't have a script or anything like that or an outline, but this book has been something I've wanted to talk about. But I also want to get further like into the book
Yeah.
before I
So I
talked
just
about
like
it.
read the first chapter.
Yeah, I
It
don't
was
think it's the
great.
best book. So I made sure I'm like on page 300 at this point. I'm I only have a few more pages to the end. I wanted to also make sure when I told you guys about it, it was after I had really read it, and it's good. It's definitely good. So, I will, I'll try to link in the description for you guys if you want to find it. We don't know him. There's no endorsement for any of this. No, so it's not like,
He doesn't even know we exist.
Yeah, you can buy it wherever you see it because we're not getting anything for if you click.
You should also
clicking
get
on a link.
Some Regal jumping spiders.
Yeah, I know. If anybody's interested, we do have who we ordered from too, which has been a great experience, and we'll follow up. We'll let you know how
if you have
it
questions,
goes.
please ask.
Yeah, Mason will love to answer them.
Yeah.
And
I'll try my best to answer them. They might not be accurate, but
he'll make something up.
I don't know, Google AI.
He'll Google it first and then get back to you.
I'll probably have a section that's like, here's what I remember, but here's what Google says. So,
and I'm going to try to, there's going to be a lot of updating on our Instagram this week. So if you're not following us, you should at Team IB Determined on Instagram. We will be updating. We always do updates on Mason's check, when he goes to the hospital, his hospital. We're always leaving that information for you guys so you can keep following along. You can see how his week goes. And we still have not posted about the jumping spiders because I'm just going to wait till Jelly Bean is here. And once we have her terrarium all together, I think we'll take pictures and post it so you guys can see that too. So give us a follow on Team IB Determined. You can also listen to us on any podcast station like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. And
if you're listening to us currently, you probably already have yours, but there's also Buzzsprout, which has a link to all podcast stations if you, for some reason, want to listen to it.
And if you would love to see, like when I was talking about, I was so tired. If you
see the bags under my eyes,
if you want to see so you can understand, like, why does she sound like this? Well, because we're tired.
Also, if you want to see the picture of the jumping spider, because
we're gonna try
put that on.
I know, I'm the editor. I know. We're like, editor, that's me. Please add that.
When I say editor, I'm basically saying, Mom.
Yeah, I know. It's fine.
It's Mom. So, thank you for doing it again.
The exciting thing is Mason does want to learn to start editing. And he has been. He did some editing for one of your classes. You had to do a video. So anyways, he'll hopefully become more involved in that too.
That'd be fun. And then I could add a really fancy picture of a jumping spider that spins when it enters.
Yeah, you know what? I am not sure if that's. I'm thinking about it. I can only imagine what part of that you're going to edit out, what you're going to keep. He's going to throw away part of the podcast and just keep the spider part. He's like, yeah, it's great. It's only 10 minutes long today.
I'm just going to edit the spider sitting on your.
I know. And it'll be distracting the whole time. No one will listen to anything we're saying if they're watching.
Hey, well, that's why you should do a podcast too.
Yeah. So,
if you want to see the picture of the spider, the picture of the book.
Yeah.
We have the picture of the book and the background or why she's tired or why I look tired.
You'll know.
Basically, you should watch us on YouTube. There's also YouTube podcast, but YouTube is for watching videos. So, give us a like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, make sure to give us a like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a new video, make sure you hit that bell icon. We used to post. Getting faster whenever I say that. I know you're like, whoo, that's because you know it. You know you're lying. But we used to post the first year of the podcast. We made a deal to do once a week, and I know that probably to you guys doesn't sound like much. But when we have a day of filming, or we have to, you have a day where you have to come up with the ideas because we're not just like popping on here and just talking typically. And so we usually have a plan. So it takes a couple days of going over ideas, potential ideas, researching those ideas. And then we have the day of filming and then we have editing. And so that can be a process of like 4 days. And so when you have a week span for that, it only gives you a couple days off. And like I'm working, he's going to school full time. We're just living life. Happens. Yeah. So it was like, so our goal was we did it for 1 year and then we went to 2 weeks. And so now you can see us. We are every other Thursday, we post a new show. So, and that's why, and it's sometimes still feels like a lot depending on the material, because like I said, we really put thought into what we talk about. And I know some podcasts are just really people just going on, they're talking, or they have other people write it for them. I don't know, but this is all us. That's why she's tired. That's why I'm tired. All right, well, you can go sleep now. I know. No, now we're gonna go back. Actually, I've been working on taxes. That's the other thing. I'm gonna go do my college work and record a video. For my college. Now he's got to do that. Part of this. Yeah. Yay! So, anyways, guys, thank you for listening.
And we will be back in 2 weeks to see you guys on the next episode.
Have a great day and make sure to get that book if you want to help gauge your disease.
Yeah.
And buy a jumping spider. No.
Oh gosh. I know. We'll turn our problems into yours.
Our problems are
Yay. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye. Bye.
We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to play something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.